It's the endless waves coming from the sea. As they are scurrying repetitively, timeless history and heritage of this place are at risk to be washed out. It's the aroma of seawater and seafood, particularly those of oysters, that many people in this place share a sense of deja vu with. Unfortunately, it has been mixed with the smell of fear recently, with people worrying that the industry will continue to decline and eventually disappear. This is Lau Fau Shan, the home to the oysters, the home to the oyster farmers in Hong Kong. Just a 15-minute ride from Pingshui Wai, Lau Fau Shan is noticeably not the typical Hong Kong. It's a small fishing village situated at the northwestern edge of Hong Kong, adjoining the deep bay and the metropolis Shenzhen. It's an area where traditional rural lifestyle still exists outside the concrete jungle, and it's still where many of the local fishermen and oyster farmers call this place home. Most tourists and local citizens may have heard of Lau Fau Shan because of its captivating scenery overlooking the deep bay, or its ageless heritage such as the former Lau Fau Shan police station. But nothing beats its famous delicacy, the fresh oysters. And the fact is that the practice of oyster farming in this small town has already been existing for over 700 years. So it is no wonder how this small oyster market can still bring this floating mountain to the spotlight nowadays. But wait, there's a question. Why oysters in the first place? Why Lau Fau Shan is rich in oysters? We have spoken to Dr. Rajan, an expert in oysters and larval biology, and he has the answers.
Yes, it is. It is naturally very, very beautiful place for aquaculture, particularly oyster aquaculture, because water, although we say is polluted for a short period of time, and the government has fixed those issues and has been relatively good in the past and now. So in the middle there was some problem. And second most important thing for oyster aquaculture and oyster growth, the productivity of water is so important. Food in the water has to be extremely high. So that's what is happening in the deep bay. The water quality productivity is very high. That's why oyster grow there. So it's still productively very high because of the nutrient coming from the poor river. Productivity is so high, so oysters love to grow there.
So it's the unpolluted marine environment and the superior geographical location that makes oysters to be suitable to grow in deep bays since the beginning. But how does oyster farming work in detail? As an oyster lover, I've decided to pay a visit to this renowned seafood market for the first time to search for the reasons that made this place famous. However, when I'm walking along the streets, it's bizarre to see that there aren't any tourists around, but only myself. What has been attributed to such an empty scenery? Is it because of the current pandemic, or is it for other reasons? I've decided to ask some of the oyster farmers and fishermen to find out.
好水魚落啦，水落，哦，人溫、海溫、蠔溫，乜嘢都溫。呢個問題啦，加埋呢個疫情啦，好多時咧，咁正常啲蠔咧都會啲人咧會養咗喺度賣翻大陸噶嘛，一排咁賣翻大陸咧做啲燒烤啊嗰啲剩噶嘛，咁而家就所有過唔到關咧，就所有貨積晒喺度，咁就困住咗喺度咧，對呢個更加唔好嘅，係咁樣。咁其實都係本地人居多咧。都係本地人居多咯。你話買啲紅豉金蠔啊嗰啲啊？
之前本地客可能佔緊6成至7成到啦，因為而家香港龍山係有搞嗰啲一日遊嗰啲旅行團㗎嘛，本地人都多本地人過嚟嘅。咁就內地客方面，因為近深圳灣口岸，咁佢過嚟可能團天水圍啊附近一日遊，咁就會過嚟呢度食飯咁咯。 比例大概首先內地係幾乎冇啦，呢個肯定㗎啦。然後本地嘅，因為佢有啲旅行團咧都驚話，因為佢人多嘛，咁佢又冇得聚餐，就其實都取消咗嘅。咁你嗰度可能都去緊一半啦。
So, excluding the current reasons that the businesses have been struck by the COVID-19 pandemic and protests, the oyster farming industry in Lau Fau Shan appears to be declining before these events. To further investigate on this issue, I've made a visit to one of the time-honored brand, Cheung and interviewed one of the owners, Miss Chan, and tried to find out the details of oyster farming and the reasons for the decline.
如果咧你知道流浮山本身嘅歷史咧，就係即係其實流浮山嘅養蠔戶咧，絕大部分咧都係祖籍咧喺嗰個深圳寶安嘅沙井人嚟嘅。我哋本身就算我哋屋企嗰個家庭背景咧，其實打從宋代咧一路都係養蠔，傳統歷代都係養蠔一路落嚟。咁你話就陳祥記就成立咗60年都有㗎啦，咁就移居咗嚟香港呢50年都做喺呢一度靠養蠔為生咯。成個作業即係夏天可能做一啲 preparation 嘅嘢，跟住到冬天嘅時候開蠔，等蠔肥嘅時候開蠔攞出嚟交鮮蠔或者係曬蠔豉做金蠔，咁即係成個作業模式改變唔大嘅。
咁但係你哋蠔苗係用咩方法去攞佢翻嚟㗎？然後先再養喺嗰個牌嗰度。
如果你成個 process 咧，其實係好長嘅。以前細個嘅時候咧，即係佢哋傳統嗰代咧，就會係咧攞啲瓦片，跟住就掉落去個海度，或者係咧開完蠔嘅蠔殼掉翻落個海度。跟住咧喺農曆嘅4月嘅時候咧，個海咧其實就係差唔多係呢一個時間啦。個海本身嘅蠔咧，佢哋就會散春啊，叫做即係佢就會咧就吐即係喺度係個播種，佢就會咧個海其實有一啲嘅蠔嘅 BB 喺度喺水度漂浮啦，跟住咧佢就會附着落去。如果喺海度咧有一啲固體嘅嘢啦，即係蠔殼好、瓦片好，咁就會咧佢就會黐住咗個蠔苗喺嗰啲瓦片嗰啲固體上面。跟住咧黐咗之後咧就慢慢成長，或者我哋依家今時今日咧就唔會就真係攞啲瓦片啊，或者我哋會咧用一啲英泥柱，即係整好晒一支支嘅英泥柱咧，就好似插秧咁樣插喺個蠔田上面，即係插喺個泥上面，然後咧佢就會生長附着咗喺嗰個柱上面，跟住慢慢跟住咧佢大到咁上下，可能有2年蠔啦，就要喺個蠔田度。即係拎住個細個嘅時候就係拎住個錘喺度卜，跟住就喺啲泥入面咧就卜隻蠔出嚟，一隻跟住再收翻嚟入去以前咧就有啲蠔籠入落去個蠔籠度，然後咧就將佢用船咧運到去個海中心嘅蠔排，就有個寄肥嘅過程咁樣咯。
係有 feel 啊呢個。
我啲手筆嚟㗎嘛，梗係。
呢個真係靚。
嚟咧。你入嚟呢一度咧，全個場咧曬滿曬蠔豉，就係好震撼嘅。即係我自己喺度做咗幾廿年，我都覺得哇好震撼，好勁啊咁樣。1年其實咧蠔咧有蠔輪㗎，好似樹咁樣嘅年輪嘅樹，你其實你都睇到年份，睇到個年輪㗎嘛。1年、2年、3年、4年蠔咯，咁樣會變到係。即係其實你見到佢即係一到冬天嘅時候，佢就會加速生長咯。咁樣突然間會你見到有個一環一環嘅有個生長㗎。呢個係蠔輪嚟㗎，係啦，年輪。
Miss Chan, working and living along the oyster farms for years, has experienced the good and bad times in oyster farming with her family. About the challenges and problems faced by the industry, she has a few points to mention.
其實唔係呢排嘅事嚟㗎啦，即係可能係唔係即係一路我諗蠔民面對嘅挑戰向來都唔少啊。蠔民嗰個即係好天曬落雨淋啦。 其實以前最興就係話一個風就會成個海嘅蠔可以死晒㗎啦，即係其實水淡啦，佢會瘦就冇成數。咁就蠔問點解又有利潤咧？即係其實啲蠔肥咧個成數高咧，開出嚟曬蠔豉曬得好曬得靚，咁佢先會有收成。水淡雨水多，可能咧佢就會瘦，有啲蠔亦都會淡。雨水唔夠，佢就個海水鹹得滯，佢就個濃度太高，佢亦都會死蠔。咁所以即係其實中間嗰個天氣已經，我哋農曆嗰個開蠔季係好長㗎，因為天氣凍啊。咁咧，我哋講緊農曆中秋節咧已經開蠔開到起冚冚㗎啦，咁就一路持續到大約農曆年後1-2個月啦。咁即係其實嗰個開蠔季咧，其實有成半年。到咗今時今日，我諗你知道全球暖化個問題啦。咁其實咧嗰個蠔季可能係去到得翻3個月，即係最凍嗰幾個月咁樣嘅啫。少啊，絕對少。即係其實你可能你年輕一輩根本就唔知道係咩一回事。其實咁啱得咁巧，我喺呢一個咁樣嘅家庭成長，我哋即係之後就先至會理解呢一個行業點樣係嘅發展嘅運作。我亦都有呢個咁嘅途徑，有阿爸阿媽傳授呢啲知識俾我。但係如果係對一個新人，即係其實你會唔會想依家咁樣嘅大旱落去蠔田嘅時候，如果水退晒，硬嗰塊泥板其實係全身係污糟邋遢，好似個泥人咁樣出去，即係背著向天咁樣嘅做嘅工作，我諗即係難嘅，即係佢個揾人揾外面揾新人請人，我哋都有困難嘅，其實係。
Now we know that the weather, climate change, and the lack of newcomers are some of the major challenges faced by the oyster farmers. But what about the environment? What is the ecological value of oysters in the first place? How does the environment affect the growth of oysters? Dr. Rajan has got the answers to these questions.
In terms of the benefit, oysters is considered to be one of the oyster aquaculture in particular. It's considered to be a green industry because oysters filter seawater to feed, to collect their food. And while they are drinking water, they also remove a lot of contaminant, particularly nutrient pollutions like nitrate, phosphate. So they take away, they filter and remove, filtering the water quite a lot. So they are naturally very important for keep the water clean. Answer is yes or no. It's all about the relative standard. There is no water called clean water. It's about whether we are meeting the safety standard or not. That's depending on different requirements, how you eat the oysters. So the major issue used to be before is the heavy metal contamination 30-40 years ago. But now it seems to be declining. It's not a major issue. It's not a life-threatening issue.
Compared to the environmental challenges, Dr. Rajan pointed out that humans themselves are the real challenge to oyster farming. As a human being, how can we solve these issues and difficulties faced by the oyster farmers and the environment currently? How can we create sustainable development in oyster farming?
We strongly believe in it is because the water quality is improving and the market value for oysters is increasing. Demand is extremely high in entire China, and also people have a high feeling of eating native oyster than imported from other places. All we need to ensure the safety for eating oysters. Particularly, we have to be concerned about the heavy metal pollution and microbial contamination, which both can be avoided, dealt with using modern technologies like heavy metals. We can grow oysters until they reach the threshold level. So we need to know the threshold level. So if we raise the oyster baby in the controlled hatchery condition, for example, 0 heavy metal, put them back in the deep well, say for 6 months and a year, keep monitoring the heavy metal, see the threshold level. Once they reach the threshold level, then harvest them. Don't allow more. Because they keep drinking and they're going to accumulate. So, but there is a threshold. Second thing, bacterial contamination, you can use the depuration unit, which we have already depuration plant in Lau Fau Shan. So you can use depuration plant to remove the bacteria from oysters before you sell it to market.
I've searched for some possible solutions to tackle the challenges in oyster farming, protecting the oysters and its environment in Lau Fau Shan, and one of them, which is rebuilding oyster reefs in Hong Kong, have caught my sight. I've decided to ask Marine Thomas, the Conservation Project Manager of the Nature Conservancy, how it works.
A healthy oyster industry needs a healthy water environment to thrive. And we also work with them on our restoration work. So we are testing restoring wild habitats on areas that are managed by these oyster farmers. So very much a partnership approach with the oyster farming industry. But at the same time, we try to help them improve on some of their operations, notably testing some new rafts. The floating bamboo rafts that are currently used are quite vulnerable to destruction. For example, every year there is a typhoon. The farmers will lose not only their rafts, but all of the produce that is on these rafts. So that puts them in a very vulnerable position financially, because they lose all of their year's produce. So education is key for any conservation issue. And in the case of shellfish habitats, it's even more key that most people in Hong Kong still only associate shellfish with food. Very little of us know that shellfish are incredibly important habitats that are on top of which endangered in Hong Kong. So what we are trying to do first and foremost is spread awareness around these habitats. And our hope is through science as well of understanding the ecological significance of these habitats in Hong Kong. We can then create more, build the case for their protection. Because again, at the moment, not only is the awareness low, but the protection levels of these habitats is incredibly low. So our education program at the Nature Conservancy is focused on creating that awareness, and our science is focused on showing the ecological value of this habitat so that hopefully they can be integrated into higher conservation agendas for Hong Kong.
So, everyone can actually pay their efforts in resolving the issue, and it's actually very simple. Though oyster farming in Lau Fau Shan is on the verge of disappearance, it's still hopeful for us to continue this invaluable heritage with different ways to alleviate the issues. If we do not abandon it, there will always be hope.